Paola Jo from SederQuilts, and I have a gorgeous quilt I've been working on this week, and I had a few little glitches that I corrected, and I thought, oh, what a perfect Quick Tip Tuesday video to start back with for you guys. So I'm going to be showing you a few little things that I had to do in the corner as I was doing my computerized quilting, and then adding the next block, and then adding the next section and whatnot. And so I did some of the videoing myself as I was working on the machine, and I'm not a good videographer. I'm a good quilter, but not a videographer. So anyway, you'll notice as we go along that some of the clips are right side up and some are sideways and whatnot. But anyway, forgive me. And love me anyway. But we're going to be back and forth with some clips to show you how I corrected and fixed a few little oopsies along the way to make this spectacular quilt look wonderful. So, see you in a minute. So we can see a couple of areas here where my computerized stops and starts were not perfect. And so I marked them with a pin, and now I'm going to be going back and fixing them. Some of them are not too bad. I could probably leave that go and no one would see it, but I would know it's there. So I'm going to go in FreeMotion style at this point. I'm going to use some rulers to help me, sorry it's a little wiggly there, to help me guide that so it's nice and smooth, because when you're in computerized everything is very perfect and precise and smooth lines. When you're in freehand it can have a little bit more of a wiggle and a woggle, so I like to use a ruler to try to help me keep my foot as smooth as possible, and we'll fix that up and a couple other spots as well. So I'm using my rulers from Quilter's Apothecary, and then I have several others that I might try out as well, but we're going to make those as perfect as possible. This is the same spot on the opposite corner. You cannot even see my stop and start here. I learned a trick as I was going. So that one was really good, but then my stop and start on the side border here was really close, but it wasn't perfect. So again, I'm going to fix that one, blend it in. I'll stitch with it as existing right now. I will find a spot where it's easy to lock stitch in and finish on the end there, and then I will unstitch the ones in between, but I will try to get that just as nice and perfect as possible. But this one was much better. I just have one little spot to do over here. And then on the third and fourth corners, they were perfect. I don't need to fix them. Now, I actually find these from the back side of the quilt. It's much easier to see them from the back. And so before I take it off the frame, I inspect things from the back side, looking for any bad little stitchy spots. And so yeah, I kind of crawl underneath here and get that. But anyway, then I can see how beautiful things look from the back side, and then mark anything that I need to fix a little bit. So as I was just showing you from underneath the machine, now it's hanging outside, it's a lot easier to see what's really going on. From the top it's busy and it's blended in and I can't see, so from the back side I can see if I really like the spacing, and do I need to fill something extra in, do I want to add something, or is there a stitch that looks kind of goofy that I want to fix, or did I miss something that I want to fix, or I saw something from the top and I want to know, is it noticeable enough? I can check it from the back side and it's a little easier to see. But anyway, we will continue. Now you can see where I started, and I picked a spot up here where the thread color is going to match with the fabric really well, and so you can't even see my stop and start. And then I followed my ruler and continued a nice arch again until I found another little spot where my thread color and my fabric color were going to match really well, so you won't see my stop and start. And then I'll go back and I will unstitch the little extra line there if I think it needs it. But anyway, now my thread matches up very nicely there, and there's a nice continuous arc, and you don't even notice in the overall scheme of things that I had a little oops on my stop and start there. So we'll fix those other ones and it will be perfect. So even though this little oops was really little and you'd be tempted to fix it in just a really short spot, you'd see that wiggle woggle quite a bit if you corrected it in a really short spot. So actually I started way over here and took a bigger, longer arc and quit down here, and then that way your eye will never see the change in that arc from a distance. It'll just blend in there perfectly and you won't see it. But like I say, just because it was a teeny little spot, sometimes it's better to make the correction over a little longer area so that you can blend in that arc nicely. There you go. This section was more of an edit. I only used part of a block, and so where I stopped and started, I really didn't have a finishing line like everything else has. So on this part I am going to be adding a little bit of an echo line all the way down and around and connecting back up to my starts and stops from the full blocks next to it, and trying to make it look a little bit more like the original block so that it blends in nicely. So this is that same edit area that I was just showing you. You can see it better from the back side. This is the whole block that I was using, but I had a smaller space here to fill in. This quilt is 70 by 80, so on the 80 section I could do 3 of those full blocks and they look gorgeous, but then on the narrow end, the 70, I had to eliminate some space. So I removed part of this block. I know it's magic. And then just used the center part here. So when I stitched it out, I didn't have nice stops and starts to finish that line that ties it all together. So what I was showing you from the front was I was adding a little bit of a echo all the way around, and I actually had to add this center one as well. But once it's all together, it looks gorgeous, and you would never know that that wasn't all done by the computer. It was done by little old me. So once we finish up all those details and we get everything put together, it looks spectacular. Not that you would have really noticed any of those little stops and starts anyway, but I know they're there and I want them to be perfect for you, because when we're going to do something this spectacular, we want it just right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back here doing some Quick Tip Tuesday videos for you. So hope to see you back soon, and toodaloo.